I do not want to be a father. I never wanted to be a father. Some people should not be fathers. Probably my biggest mistakes in my life were getting married and having kids. And I had spiky hair, and I said, what's the haircut that will make me stand out in Singapore? Because no one knew who I was. I've lost clients because of it. And if people don't like you and don't buy your service as a result of it, so be it. You can't be looking back and going, well, what if and what if and what if? Yeah. You've got to go forwards. The true entrepreneurs just dress relaxed because they don't have to show anybody they have money.
Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic, Nick. How are you?
Excellent. Fantastic to be at the W Hotel. I've been following you on social media. I've been looking at all your pictures down here.
Epic. Yes, it is brilliant around here.
Yeah. So this is your working spot?
Yeah, because I live in oceanfront across the way. Yeah. So I love Sentosa. So Sentosa's fantastic. It's a great place to meet entrepreneurs. Yeah. Lots of entrepreneurs in Sentosa, and they're all dressed like me. None of them are dressed like suited and booted. If they're suited and booted, you know they're not an entrepreneur. They were going into the city to work for a bank or a management consulting firm or a law firm or some other accounting firm. The true entrepreneurs just dress relaxed because they don't have to show anybody they have money. I have no money at all. I just like this anyway. But the point is you have to be authentic if you want to be an entrepreneur and not try too hard to impress people with, fancy suits and so forth.
Wonderful. And that's why we're here today. Yes. That's what we're going to talk about. And to all the listeners, I'm sitting here with Chris Reeds, the only CEO with a Mohawk in the whole world. Is that right?
It is. Google it and you'll find out. There's no other CEO with a Mohawk. It's not one.
I did my research before and I was actually looking and I couldn't find anyone else. So let's start right there. Yeah. Because even as I said, I'm going to come down and talk to you. Yeah. Everyone is wondering about the story about the Mohawk. Where did it all come from?
It's a great question, Nick. I mean, basically, I came out to Singapore 20 years ago. I sold my third business in London and basically started using LinkedIn 2007, 2008 to find people in Singapore. Basically, that I could, find, get a job with, maybe start a client, maybe start an entrepreneurship. But I didn't know anybody in Singapore, so I was using LinkedIn to reach out. I then got my first, second, third job by using LinkedIn to network and then to find clients. And then I started realizing no one knew how to use black marketing. And I was in the hairdressers one day and I had spiky hair and I said, what's the haircut that will make me stand out in Singapore? Because no one knew who I was. No one knew who I was. I was well known in London, but nobody knew in Singapore. And the hairdresser jokingly said, oh, you should get a Mohawk. And I went, that's it? Do me a Mohawk. And she went, are you serious? But don't you need to go to work tomorrow? And literally she said to me, you can't wear a Mohawk at work in Singapore. This is back in 2009, 2010. And I said, no, but I'm an entrepreneur. I can wear a Mohawk and it'll make me stand out. So we do the Mohawk, and since then I've had blue ones and red ones and yellow ones. As you can see, I've got a red and a blue one now. I try and practice different ones with greens and pinks and purples and whatever. But it makes me stand out. Not just here, Nick, because the power of LinkedIn, I get seen anywhere in the world. I've had people in places like London and Switzerland, China and Hong Kong and Sydney and Melbourne. People say, oh, you're the Mohawk guy, you're the LinkedIn guy. And they connect the two. They don't know my name, but it doesn't matter. Because you Google or you LinkedIn Mohawk, I come up. And then I tell you about my services on LinkedIn. Then I talk about personal branding. So it's all connected to what my service is, which is personal branding.
Yeah. And then the question then, all taken back to the UK.
Yes.
Before all of this, were you a punk?
No, I was never a punk. No, I wish. I kind of missed it because I was born in the era of the punks, but basically I then got into the new romantics in the 80s, in the kind of late 70s, early 80s. But so punk was really big in the 76, 77, 78, and it had really faded away. And that's why probably I like metal. I like what they call hair metal, Guns N' Roses, Whitesnake, Def Leppard, and then into Metallica, the harder stuff, and then the much harder stuff now, for example. But it was never punk. Never punk. Although I love the punk ethos, obviously, but I was never into punk.
Oh, that's very, very fascinating. So maybe the punk music was a bit too soft for you.
Definitely would be now, yes. You listen to it now, you go, whoa. That's nothing compared with some death metal or some proper metalcore, also proper screaming and shouting on there, getting the angst out there. You'd love metalcore. But like Parkway Drive, for example, he says it's therapy. Yeah. Which goes to what you say. He says, you get 20,000 men in a room and they're all shouting and screaming at his songs, all this kind of thing. And it's all about getting it out there. Yeah. And, you're not holding it back, you're letting it out. It's the same reason why football matches work for men as well. It's like shouting and screaming and basically getting it out. Otherwise, you're bottling it all up, as you know, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. I know all about that. Hey, Chris, I was in Germany 4 years ago with my son. And we saw at least 100 punks on the square, all with Mohawks. And we were walking around, and that was the first time my son was ever in Germany.
Yeah.
And he was thinking, is everyone in Germany wearing a Mohawk? And I said, well, just wait, we're going to travel around. But how rare is it? Have you come across other people?
Oh, it's very, very rare. I mean, obviously in London, where I worked for 20 years, there's lots, but it's more a fashion thing. You know, it's very much a fashion thing in places like Carnaby Street and Camden and those kind of places. There will be punks there, but it's more a fashion statement than anything like anarchic. It's not really anarchic. It's more like you want to stand out, you want to express yourself. It's like having tattoos. It's all about expressing yourself. Like, how do you want to express yourself? Well, your hair is the most obvious one. Your face and your tattoos are two ones. How you dress in terms of the Metallica. Some people say to me, oh, you're the Metallica guy. You're just for my t-shirts. Sometimes I don't even put the Mohawk up, and they go, oh, you got the Metallica on the tattoos. Oh, you're the Mohawk guy. You're the LinkedIn guy. And that works as well. Again, part of your personal branding. You have to know what part of your personal branding is, and you've got to be true to it at all stages. But, you know, the punks things, I mean, there's places in Melbourne, for example, there's punks. Scandinavia, there's punks, for example, but they're quite mellow punks compared to the punks of, you know, of the UK in the 70s.
Okay. So the Mohawk has really helped you with your branding.
Yes.
You got it when you just came to Singapore and so on. It positioned yourself. I want to explore when it hasn't served you so well, because I've been following you on LinkedIn for a few years, and I saw you came into one of the lounges, the business lounges in the world, and you were struggling to get in, perhaps?
I mean, that's happened several times. There's dress codes here in Singapore. Singapore tends to be, you know, pretty relaxed most of the time. Sentosa certainly is. I have no problems in these places, like W Hotels, a 5-star hotel. But if you go to some of the fancy hotels, like, for example, across the way, the Raffles Hotel, for example, they take one look at me and go, you got a Mohawk and tattoos and shorts and cut-off t-shirt, you're not getting in, kind of thing. I've had this in restaurants. You know, very rare, you know, you can't come in there, kind of thing. So there is a bit like, you know, old-fashioned London, I would say, where obviously I wouldn't go to those kind of places either, where you have to wear a suit and a tie, and you have to wear this, and you know, they don't allow women in, they don't allow this person in, they don't allow, you know, different people in, or creative types. And I don't want to be going to a place where I'm self-conscious and going, you know, they're all looking at me, kind of thing, or they just let me in because they're not going to write a bad review about them anyway, because I would do, obviously. But it is the price of what I say. More importantly, Nick, I've lost clients because of it. And that's more fundamental, because when I get into a restaurant, who cares? But I've lost clients because of it, because probably half the people I'm pitching go, I'm offended by your Mohawk. I'm offended about you pitching me. Why aren't you dressed up? Where's your shirt? Where's your tie? Where's your suit? Where's your office? I've had that. I'm not doing business with you because you don't have an office. I go, huh? Who has an office these days? It's like, seriously, which entrepreneur who has global clients has an office? What would be the point of having an office? This is my office. And it's the same with the way you dress. If I suddenly turned up in a suit and a tie and a shirt, people go, what the hell is Chris doing? It's like, you know, he's kind of sold out. He's lost his way, kind of thing. It's not authentic. As you know, Nick, basically, it's all about authenticity. You've got to be authenticity. And if people don't like you and don't buy your service as a result of it, so be it. Other people will do exactly because of that. I had a couple of messages this week saying, I love your t-shirt, I love the band, let's have a meeting, and they became a client. So, you know, it works both ways. You break down barriers because you like Metallica and you dress like this, but you also close more, what I would call small-minded, ignorant people off, because they can't get their head around the fact you can be an entrepreneur and a CEO with a Mohawk.
And that's it, right? It's about not being something for everything, but being something for the right people.
Be yourself, yeah. And ultimately, you know, as Oscar Wilde said, be yourself, everyone else is taken. It's so true. If you can't live with yourself and you have to pretend to dress up and you have to pretend to, you know, I know friends of mine basically who run companies who basically put their shirts down here because they're pitching corporates. And they know they've got tattoos and sleeves like me, and they go, no, I couldn't show that. I'm going, really? Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? You have to go to work in a suit? I haven't gone to work in a suit for like 15 years, Nick. I wouldn't go to a suit and a tie and a pocket. I literally, if people can't stand like this, then I don't want to do business with them. I mean, literally as simple as that. It's like, although I'm not doing all the work for them, I've got a team in South Africa who are fantastic, who will do it all for you. It's still, you have to be authentic in your personal branding on LinkedIn as much as anywhere else. And if you can't do that, people will find out. If you're trying to kid them, they will find out. So be authentic and, you know, be true to yourself, and you won't get found out because you are you.
Yeah. And I think if I'm looking back at my own journey, my fall was about 11 years ago. And it was because I wasn't authentic. I could deliver everything the bosses said, the KPIs, the targets, I would hit it. but at the expense of myself.
Yeah.
And it only lasts so long. It lasts so long, and I elbowed my way to the top of that corporate ladder, fall all the way down, only to find myself.
Precisely.
Yeah. And if we look in your life, Chris, when did you find yourself?
When did I find myself? Well, that's a great question. That's a really, really good question. I think I found myself two ways, Nick. When I came to Singapore, which was the best thing I ever did in my life, I kid you not, coming to Singapore, I mean, I went from Newcastle, where I was born, in England, down to London. I spent 20 years in London, but London's very, very expensive. Nothing works, very bureaucratic. It's just not really very good for entrepreneurs. So when I came to Singapore, I felt, first of all, I love the country, I love the weather. You know, this is February in Singapore. It's like, I'm amazing. All the rest of the world is like snow and ice and sleet, and they're going like this. And the football, I was watching the football this morning, and they're all like, oh, it's freezing cold. And I'm going, it's fantastic. So I'm a summer baby. I was born in July. So I love the summer. So that's very important to me. I can go out every single day looking like this because it's comfortable. So I find myself that way. But more importantly, I found myself when I met my fourth wife, May. Definitely. She's basically the wonder of my life. And she's the only of my four wives on my tattooed on my arm, because she's the one that kind of transformed my life. She lets me be me, doesn't try to change me, as my previous three wives did. And that was their mistake. It's like, okay, you're going to try to change me, but you met me like this. Now you want to change me. It's like, why do you want? I don't understand why women do that. So I meet you and then I want to change you. It's like, well, if you don't like me, then don't meet me. Don't go get married. And so she enables me to be me. Like, she empowers me. And we've been married for 7 years, going out for 10 years. And it's the longest of all my marriages, longest of my relationships. And she gives me strength. I give her strength, and she gives me strength. We're a wonderful couple together. She's Chinese Singaporean, and we're chalk and cheese. She's 20 years younger than me. I mean, literally chalk and cheese. Yeah. But that works. And I do believe the differences actually work better than similarities. You have more in common. You have more things to do. You have more exchange. You have more perspectives. I will ask her about the business, even though she flies for Singapore Airlines, and she says, I don't know about business. I'm interested in the human part of this. I'm interested in the psychology part of this. And she'll give me a perspective which I have not thought about. And that's amazing to have that foundation, Nick. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't worry about her. I totally trust her, which I didn't do my other wives. Who all cheated on me. To be fair, I cheated on them as well. But, my current wife, she flies all over the world. Currently, she's in Narita. Then she goes to Los Angeles. Then she's back to Narita. Next week, she's up to New York, and then Paris, and then she's up to Rome. And she could get up to all sorts, but she doesn't, because, I trust her and she trusts me, and she knows a good thing and I've got a good thing, and we have this wonderful relationship. But it's like literally fourth time of trying, Nick, and going through a lot of pain and a lot of misery and a lot of financial hardship, which I'm still paying for, in terms of my previous three wives, which, to this day, probably my biggest mistakes in my life are getting married and having kids, because that's cost me financially. I would be a millionaire if I hadn't done that, and I'm not a millionaire. I've been working until I'm 90 years old or dead because of the fact I made mistakes. I got married too young, got married too many times, and had too many children. So some people aren't supposed to be fathers, Nick.
I'm into my second marriage myself, and it's working much better than the first one. Also, not trying to change each other. Cheers, yeah. And I hope I don't have to reach 4.
So I hope so too, Nick.
Yeah. So what did you learn from your first 3 failed marriages, apart from that you have to pay until you're 95?
What did I learn? I learned you have to get the foundation. So in each of those marriages, we all agreed we wouldn't have babies, we wouldn't have kids. So each of them agreed, fundamental. I never wanted kids in my life, never wanted it. So we agreed we would not have children. But each of them hit 39 years old, and then decided that they had to have a child. And I'm going, hey, hang on a minute. No. We didn't agree this. This is not agreed. So what do? So they say basically, well, we have a child and we stay together, or basically we get a divorce. And I say, if we have a child, we'll get divorced anyway. And they go, we'll have a child and we get divorced. So in all 3, so my second one unfortunately died, but my first and my third, that's what happened. Basically, as soon as they said they wanted a baby, I was out. I was emotionally out. I'd gone. And basically, so the first one had a baby. I left within 6 months, paid maintenance for 22 years. He went to school. Third one, 2 babies living in Singapore, which I don't see, even though I pay maintenance, because they don't want to see me and I don't want to see them. It's basically, I do not want to be a father. Never wanted to be a father. Some people should not be fathers. I knew that from an early age. So it's like forcing it on to people and thinking they'll change. It's just like, that is the ultimate in selfishness in charge of that, and it's cost me a lot of money. I pay a lot of maintenance, and I get no benefit whatsoever. I call it the Singapore father's tax.
Yeah.
And I know other people who also pay maintenance and don't see their kids as well. It's the tax I have in terms of freedom. I guess I don't see them, so I have a freedom of a life. I can do what I want, but it cost me a lot of money. So the lesson I learned was with May, for example, my current wife, is nail that down. And luckily, she's a stewardess, Singapore Airlines, so she can't get pregnant really because she has to stop flying. She also, they have rules about you can't get fat, you can't, So I knew she didn't like kids as much as I didn't like kids, and she's past the age of 39 now, so just by 6 months or whatever, not a year. But I know, she's got 10 years left of flying for SQ. There's no way on earth she would give that up to have kids, and she has no inclination of having kids, and she has no tendencies like I have. So that's important. It's extremely important, I think, that you are both aligned with not having kids, because it can wreck your entire relationship.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, because indeed now I'm a psychotherapist and counselor, and if you do couple counseling, it's one of the first questions you will ask. You need to agree on this. And not only the properties and the money, but you need to sign that, or we're going to have a child or not, right?
And also not change your fucking minds. I mean, seriously. Yeah. That's what really, really pissed me off, is that people say, but you must have agreed to have kids before. No, we agreed not to have kids. We went through that conversation before we were married. Yeah. So we got that out of the way. We were all anti-kids before it. But the trouble is, human nature, mother nature, basically, the woman's clock basically kicks in and goes, whoa, it's your last chance. And I don't care if it's your last chance. Adopt in 10 years' time or something. Adopt a child, I don't know, have a pussycat, have a dog, have a pony. You don't need to have a child. So.
Yeah. So what about if your current wife comes back in 2 weeks and says, yes, I have a second thought of mine?
Not going to happen. You do. I mean, that's what it taught me, basically, that she would not do that. And I've been rewarded for a wonderful relationship where I know she won't do that. I mean, May, of all my wives, basically, she says what she does. She does what she says. There's no lying, there's no cheating, there's no games. Like, she's very authentic, she's very straight, she's very direct, she's very Chinese Singaporean, she's very pragmatic.
Sounds wonderful. If only you met her first.
I know, but that's a good point, Nick. I wish I'd come to Singapore when I was 20 or even 30. But would I have been the same person? Would I have made black marketing? Would I have met May? I don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And the first 3 failed marriages lead to me having a successful 4th.
Yeah.
I'm very happy in my 40s and my 50s to live in Singapore, because I wasn't that happy in London in my 20s and 30s. Maybe it's that perspective that otherwise, if I came to Singapore when I was 20, I'd be going, wow, Singapore's fantastic. What about this London thing? Yeah. Maybe, and then you go to London and go, oh, it's a fucking terrible place. It rains all the time, and basically, the taxes and the strikes, and I'm going to go back to Singapore. Yeah. So, you don't know what you don't know, do you?
Yeah. And you mentioned you have no contact with your children. How is that for you?
It's very hard. I mean, it's very hard, but you accept it. You're pragmatic in that if they don't want to contact me and I don't want to contact them, I mean, I've tried. You have this whole text messaging thing going on, and you don't even know it's them. So basically, when I text my son, for example, and I basically go, that doesn't sound like. So you don't know if that's my ex-wife or somebody else controlling that text. If you don't have a call, you can't have a meeting. So that's funny, and then you don't know what they're being told. In fact, you probably understand that they're probably being told also awful things about you, and you don't pay anything, but I do. I pay a lot of money every single month. Because of the Women's Charter here in Singapore makes sure you do. So you just have to, like many things in life, Nick, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't control it, and therefore there's no point worrying about it or trying to change it, because nothing's going to change. So I move on. I'm very pragmatic that way. I don't look back. I look forwards. And that's I think, a Singaporean thing as well. They don't look back. They look forwards. They go forwards. And Majula Singapore is exactly how I live my life. Forward Singapore. Forward Chris. Forward Mohawk, because that's how you have to live. You can't be looking back and going, well, what if and what if and what if. You've got to go forwards. You've got to go into the future. You've got to go to technology, and you've got to do relationships, and you've got to basically build a base, and you've got to think we've got 30 years left on this earth, because technology and Singapore have long lifestyles. Therefore, you have to look forwards and build for a future, like you are, Nick. You're inspiring what you've done in terms of how you change your world and how you change your things. I mean, that thing is absolutely inspiring. It's like I could learn several lessons from what you've done and what you're doing in America and so on. It's fantastic. See, you're going forwards. You're not looking backwards, you're going forwards.
Love that forward thinking. And if we do go forward, let's say we go forward 5 years into the future, and your children are looking up, coming back to you, because eventually many children do. There's a time and place when they maybe go stand on their own feet and they come to you. What would be your response?
Well, first of all, that's a myth. And I know people who basically have been told that, and then their kids get to 22, 23, 24, because they've been brainwashed by the mother. They think the husband, the father is the devil, and they don't go back to them. So it tends to be a bit of a myth, because we had 20 years of brainwashing. Just the father, just them going, oh, I'm 21 now, I'm going to decide to go and suddenly meet my father, who's basically hasn't been around for 20 years, and he basically, my mother says, is the devil. It's not going to happen in a million years. If it did happen, obviously, I never say no, never say never. You know, these things can happen. You know, I'm someone who basically got married 4 times and pledged till death us do part 4 times. Clearly, those first 3 times were not true. So you can never say never, can you? You can never. I don't know. I would never predict I came to Singapore like when I was 38, 39 years old, Nick. If you'd asked me that when I was 35, Singapore? I have no idea what that place is. It's like, seriously, I would never have I've never said, if you said I've been married to a Singaporean Chinese woman who flew for Singapore Airlines, how's that even possibly going to happen? You're going to have like the leading LinkedIn marketing company in the world, but it's been based in Singapore, not London. I'm going, what's LinkedIn? And what do you mean I'm going to be based in Singapore? Because at the time, you know, 2005, LinkedIn didn't really exist. It had like 10 people on it, you know, in San Francisco. So you don't know what you don't know. And I can't predict what's going to happen in the future, but I'm always open to opportunities, always open to, you know, things going on. I always say yes to opportunities. So basically, if you keep saying yes, then things will happen positively. If you have a positive mindset.
Yeah, I disappeared as a father for 3 years when I went through my challenging time, 2015 to 18. I signed all the papers to my ex-wife that she could have custody. I didn't fight anything. And for 3 years, I didn't show up. Eventually, I thought that I need to do something here because it was haunting me, and I did what I could to clean that up. And rebuilding that relationship, my son is 17 now, is one of the most rewarding things. Rewarding things I've done.
Did he come to you, or you came to him?
I came to him and my ex-wife, and
how was he? How receptive was he when you came to him initially?
I came to him step by step, and just to clean my side of the street up, and just to make my amends. And now it's very rewarding.
Fantastic.
But I'm working with one particular client, also a man who had two children, and he has not repaired his relationships. And I asked him the question: what about if you're looking back on your life from your 80th birthday? What would you say you could do as a younger self? So imagine now I know you don't like to look backwards. So we're at your 80th birthday, and you're looking back at this. What is there something you could do to repair those relationships?
No.
You've done what you could.
Not in a million years. Not in a million years. I did what I could. I turned up every week, and they rejected me to such an extent where me and you know, talking to my wife, I can't go over there, and then they don't want to come back, even though it's my weekend, because they want to spend time by themselves or with other people, or because my ex-wife is like, and we have different worlds. I can't go through that every single week, because, you know, you reject. It's like, what's the point? You're putting yourself through mental anguish. You're putting you through mental, you know, it's not good for you at all. It's also not good for the kids, to be fair. You know, I'm sure the kids are much happier being in the East Coast, which is what they are now, living in a house which is twice the price I paid for my condo in Sentosa, which is kind of funny, living their lives, playing their football and doing their things every Saturday and Sunday, which they couldn't have done if they came over here, because they'd be here, not over there. So, you know, I'm sure they're happier too. So I don't regret. There's nothing. First of all, there's nothing I can do about it. Sometimes you have to realize there's nothing you can do.
And looking in the future in another aspect now, yourself with black marketing, where does the future lie with LinkedIn and authentic leadership and branding?
Great question. We're going to basically merge our companies with kind of one of our competitors in Australia. We're basically what I call frenemies. He's a good friend of mine. I'm a good friend of his. We're both entrepreneurs. We're going to kind of come together, and then we're going to basically, I will sell his products, he will sell my products, and we'll become much bigger. And then we're going to hopefully, you know, probably double or even treble the revenues and the profits of the company, for example, because of this. Great minds come together. He's a founder. I'm a founder. The problem, as you know, Nick, with founders is I have no one to talk to. Literally no one to talk to. Literally, and when my wife's away flying, which she does like 20 days a month, I literally do. I'm talking to like this. I'm talking to me. I'm talking to Metallica. I'm talking to, you know, you. I'm talking to you know, friends going out in the bar in Sentosa Cove, or because I'm saying, well, what do you think about this? Because I've got no one to talk to. So now we're basically going to, and he has the same problem, is that he doesn't have anyone to talk to either. So we'll have someone to talk to, have someone to bounce things off, and we're in the same industry. He does LinkedIn marketing, I do LinkedIn marketing. He does different services than I do, but effectively it's the same. And we basically understand each other's challenges, problems, and opportunities. That's why we're going to work together. So, and then we're going to look at potentially buying other companies, or maybe floating or being bought down the line. You know, he's older than me, so basically we're looking at, how that works in terms of legacy, how that works in terms of, he taking on a chairman role and doing other things, and me taking on the CEO role of the whole company, which is great for him. It's great for me. It gives me, another 5 to 10 years doing this, but all reinventing and refreshing it, because suddenly I'm selling his products and joining him in the marketing, and he's helping me with my marketing. So, together it's stronger. Even though I've been doing this for 14 years, he's been doing this for 13 years. So, we are the longest standing LinkedIn marketing companies in the world. Because most people, as you know, Nick, people say, oh, I'll do this LinkedIn marketing. Then they go, fuck, this is way too hard. This is way too hard. And cancel the LinkedIn marketing after about 6 months to 12 months, because they realize it's very, very hard to actually do. To, get your tone of voice right, to get your leadership right, to find new clients, to, do it authentically, and to do it within the rules of LinkedIn, which don't allow automation with AI, don't allow people to basically be faking it, and you can be taken off the platform, and you do need to be authentic. So, the challenge is there is the AI automation in terms of when I send you a message, some people assume it's automation. But it's not. It's me. I've looked at your profile. I think I can help you. And I only approach people I think I can help. Same with my friends. It's like we do that. Whereas automation basically spams everybody and hopes that basically 5 people reply. And then everybody else just basically says, you spam me, because I can tell it's automation, because it makes no sense. Or it's used my name wrong, or basically there's some telltale clue into how you do that. So it's I'm optimistic about the future, but then I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a Leo, so I'm always going to be I'm also a dog, with Chinese dogs, so I'm always optimistic, Nick.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I like to talk about the future with you. So talking then about the future, AI is taking all of the jobs, and many of the people who's watching this might say, well, there's no way I would pay a LinkedIn marketing agency because AI will replace your job. What do you think about that?
How? I always say to them, how? So what, you're going to get ChatGPT or Gemini to basically suddenly take over your LinkedIn? How? How is that even possibly going to happen? Because you can put things into LinkedIn, ChatGPT or Gemini, and say create a post, and it'll create a post. And you basically, normally it's too long and it needs to be edited. So who's going to do that? You just ask Gemini to do that. So who's going to do it? Someone has to do it. You go, who is going to help me? So you need someone to get your tone of voice right. Also, you need a strategy. A content strategy. So I post every day, and it's a strategy. We have a strategy for all our clients, and basically it's a 3-month, 4-month, 6-month strategy. It's designed to get them clients, designed to market them. We make sure the content is readable, it's authentic. We interview you, we transcribe it, and then on the automation, we don't use automation at all. We don't use AI to write the post. What we do is someone engages with your post, we write to them if they are your perfect ICP, your perfect ideal client portfolio profile. So we write to them. First, look at their profile. Are they actually who they are? Because a lot of people say they're the CEO or the founder or something. You look at their profile, go, you're not the CEO or founder anyway. You just put it up there. Or they're saying an entrepreneur. They work for a bank or management consulting, or they're the CEO of a non-profit, or they're CEO of this beer, or they're the CEO of this table. It's like, literally, they're not a CEO of anybody. And so you only know that if you go to their profile and look at it. That's what my team do. So you need humans to create a social selling campaign, a marketing campaign, a LinkedIn content marketing campaign, and to manage it, because you still need someone to enact the AI, even if you have AI. AI doesn't work by itself. It works with somebody basically activating it and putting it into best use for you. I use AI, for example, for things like fact checking, or basically I have an email, because my email skills are terrible. So basically I now put an email which basically would offend everybody into Gemini, and Gemini goes, what do you think you're doing? You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that. What about this? And it comes up with this wonderful email, which I would never have written, Nick, in a million years, which doesn't offend anybody at all. And I get these wonderful replies. People go, that's a very nice email from you, because I wasn't expecting that. It's like, yeah, because I didn't fucking write it. Gemini wrote it. It's like, and that is the good thing of AI, I think. And basically, it takes the essence of what you want to say, but it says it in such a way that it understands how someone might react to it. And the trouble is that I, like you, are quite emotional about our businesses, quite passionate about what we do, and it tends to come through in emails. And basically, I made lots of mistakes managing people over the years. That's why I don't do that anymore. I've outsourced that to somebody else to do that because I can't do that. And I tend not to write emails either because my emails tend to come across as too harsh and too basically emotional, and it stresses people out. And they basically, you know, when I was managing people in London, they would complain and they'd leave because my emails would literally, you know, 7 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, weekends. I'd be saying, where's this? What's happened to this? What's happened to this? And like accusing them all kind of thing. Like, I can't manage people like that. And luckily, you have to recognize that, as you know, Nick. So I stopped doing that, outsourced that to my team in South Africa now. They do it. And outsourced the email writing to Gemini. And that's very good as well.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds like you have it all sorted out there.
No, I don't have it all sorted out, Nick. I'm still learning every single day about how else I can use it, because it's still fascinating. Because everyone says, "Oh, you should be using it." I'm going, but how? On LinkedIn, how? Because if you use automation on LinkedIn, you can be taken off. And obviously, I can't be taken off LinkedIn because if I get taken off LinkedIn, my entire business goes down the path. So I'm super careful in terms of what I do and how I do, and you know, I don't attach any automation at all, or any bots or any caps or anything on LinkedIn, because you can be taken off, and it's not worth the risk. You know, so basically, you know, we are very, very careful about what we do and how we say, and it's learning every day. I mean, how do you use AI?
Well, so first of all, I appreciate that you're working with you a few years. You really helped me with LinkedIn myself, right? And these days, for emails to check it, the punctuation, the grammar, and so on. But essentially, it's my ideas, but to polish it. Yeah. And I have been guilty from using that for social media a bit, but I'm trying to at least edit it after.
You need to edit it. And normally keep it shorter, because what ChatGPT and Gemini does is it creates a long post. And what LinkedIn have realized is that long posts created by AI get less engagement. So, you know, you can look at the data. So you share a post you did, which is shorter, share a post with an original picture of you, share an AI post with an AI picture, it'll get less engagement. It's not rocket science. People want to engage with you. People engage with people. They don't engage with robots.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Chris, we're coming towards the end of the podcast. It's wonderful being down to the W, visiting you in your home ground.
Thank you.
Home turf, a fellow entrepreneur, hardworking. And I have one more question.
Shoot.
So you came to Singapore. You went into a hairdresser. You got your Mohawk. Would you shave it off for $1 million?
No. Just like I wouldn't go to America for $1 million, I also wouldn't shave my Mohawk off $1 million. No, not in a million years.
No?
So I will keep it as long as I can possibly keep it, because so many of my friends, they've gone bald or they haven't got their hair anymore, and they're so envious of my hair. It's like, so I will keep it as long as I possibly can do. Maybe I can do it for 5 years, maybe 10 years. My father's 81 and he's still got his hair. So, you know, if he's still got his hair at 81, maybe I could be the only 80-year-old, you know, CEO with a Mohawk. You know, it's like, I will try, Nick, you know. So no, I wouldn't do that. Some things aren't worth the money.
Sorry, $10 million.
No.
Okay, good try then, yeah. So any last message you want to share before we let you go?
The last message I would say to people is basically be authentic on LinkedIn and don't use automation. You know, if you haven't got time to do it, you basically seek out help, people who can do it, maybe employ experts to do it, like ourselves or other companies who do it, or get someone to actually help you, because LinkedIn is still the primary audience platform for you know, professional content, adult content, and I'd say adult conversation. It doesn't have to be about business. In fact, my best posts don't go viral about business. They go viral about local topics and personal topics, because people like people on LinkedIn, and that's what it's all about. So, you know, I would advise anyone to post, first of all, because only 1% of people bother posting on LinkedIn, and post things about you, and post things about you being authentic, and post things about you and your story and your life and your view of local topics, because that's what people want to talk about. And you have to follow the data on LinkedIn if you want to benefit LinkedIn, getting new jobs or clients or whatever you do. So ultimately, be yourself.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris.
Pleasure, Nick. Thanks for the invite.